Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, interestingly enough, thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. Welcome aboard. Tonight is Wednesday, June 29th, 2022. This is live stream 806. If this is your first time swinging on by, let me point out, super casual around here. We're not performing rocket surgery or anything like that. Just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news. Plus, taking a look at a tabletop game. Every once in a while, I'll do a live review, but for the most part, here on the Dispatch, we take first looks at board games and role-playing games, and the fantasy role-playing game celebration rocks on, as tonight I'm going to be taking a first look at Castles and Crusades, Monsters and Treasure from Troll Lord Games. So all week long, we have been taking a dive into the kind of core books for Castles and Crusades. So tonight we are going to look at what is essentially the Monster Manual. So stay tuned for that. Do want to mention that if you are watching live and you're tuning in to check out Monsters and Treasure, we always tackle the tabletop gaming news first. So kick back, put your feet up, relax. It'll be about 30 minutes or so. And then we will jump on into Monsters and Treasure. Of course, if you're watching this stream after it's ended, 30 minutes or more after it wraps up, you'll find there are timestamps available. So you can actually jump past the tabletop gaming news if you'd like. And depending on what device you happen to be watching this on, you might actually have those timestamps right there in the timeline of the video as you're watching. So keep that in mind as well. So started off, right? And there was no audio. And I thought, oh, man. Windows didn't update. It never fails. Windows, whenever it updates, it always messes with my audio. But I actually use a couple of programs before the audio hits my streaming program, which is OBS Studio. And those were showing levels. So I was like, oh, everything must be fine because I'm seeing audio levels in my preamp and things like that. I was like, oh, we should be okay. Yep. I assumed, and you know what that means. Yes. Anyway, so at least we've got some audio now. Do keep in mind when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more that you will not find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Of course, this is a live stream, so that means there is chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. And to be honest, where would I kind of squeeze it in? You know, it's not like I'm streaming a video game or something, right? Just put it right over my face. That'd be fine. Just watch the chat go by. Anyway, you also have to be a subscriber to the channel for at least 48 hours to take part in chat. It's yet another way that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you want to say howdy, maybe you got a question, a comment, by all means, chime in, and I will do my best to respond. First out the gate tonight is one of our chat moderators, Mr. Eddie T. 245 Trioxins with us, Kathy Evans as well, Kevin R. Smith, Ron G has joined us. That's not ringing a bell. This might be Ron's first visit with us. So if it is, welcome aboard. Christopher Rush is hanging around as well. Sweet. Mr. Eddie T says, good old Windows. Of course, if Mr. Eddie T's hanging, we know Sarah D is not far behind. So we are off and running tonight. So let's jump right on into the tabletop gaming news, because arriving in July is a game that a lot of people are looking forward to. And of course, I'm talking about Smash Up Disney Edition. And here are the details from the op. The shuffle building game Smash Up begins with a simple premise. Take the 20 card decks of two factions, shuffle them into a deck of 40 cards, then compete to crush more bases than your opponents. Each faction involves a different gaming mechanism, and each combination of factions brings a different gaming experience. In Smash Up Disney Edition, players choose two decks of fan favorite Disney factions and combine their powers to take over bases, earn the most points, and win. Choose two from Frozen, Big Hero 6, Wreck-It Ralph, The Lion King, Mulan, Aladdin, The Nightmare Before Christmas, and Beauty and the Beast to create the most exciting team-ups imaginable. Oh, you know there's going to be expansions. There shall be expansions. During the game, base cards, each with their own difficulties and abilities, are at stake. By playing cards from your hand, you try to have the most powerful set of minions on a base when the base is broken. When this happens, the three most powerful players on that base score points. When a player has 15 or more points at the end of a turn, they win. If two or more players have more than 15 victory points, the one with the most points is the winner chicken dinner. Smash Up Disney Edition is for 2 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, plays in around 45 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $34.99 when it arrives next month. Gotta say, and Kevin R. Smith has actually beaten me to the punch here, mentioning that he has played other Smash Up editions, and this is the first time we've got a licensed version, which amazingly enough, this is not from AEG. It is actually from the op, although it's in conjunction with AEG. But this is actually considered an op game. But I was going to say, I had not recalled now, and there have been a lot of expansions for Smash Up over the years. I don't recall any sort of licensing unless, didn't they do a Marvel Smash Up? There may have been a Marvel Smash Up. That would have been the first license. But I was going to say, this is going to be insanely popular, I bet you. This is going to fly off of shelves. And I will tell you right now, I am putting money on my best friend Elliot Miller will be picking this up. I did notice on Amazon, they've got a pre-order price that is pretty sweet. I'm not telling anybody they got to shop on Amazon. I'm just saying, it's like, whoa, that's a pretty good savings. Because usually Amazon prices just right off the bat on board games isn't that fantastic. Usually it's about 10%, but it's actually more than that. Anyway, so this should be pretty cool. I am looking forward to this. And something else that I have to mention is I'm kind of surprised that we are seeing Disney use their IPs in conflict-related games. So we've got the Sorcerer's Arena. So that's a battle game. This is a battle game. Kind of unusual. Mr. Eddie T says, yes, there was a Marvel Smash Up. I thought there was. I got to be honest. I like Smash Up. I think it's a lot of fun. I always got a kick out of the different memes that they would use. And It's been a long time since I played it, and it's been a long time since I've seen an expansion for it. So I don't know. 245 Tracks and mentions, didn't Disney just get a new CEO? I believe they did. I am not like the most Disney-fied person out there. So I usually just run across things. But yeah, I thought they did get a new CEO. Moving right along, Kevin says that his Pathfinder group hosts will probably pick this up. They have Smash Up with an expansion or two and Disney Villainous. Yes, that is a game that my best friend Elliot stood in line at Gen Con to make sure he got a copy of. And I had to laugh because it was the only game that he was willing to stand in line for to get. Direwolf Digital has revealed an upcoming standalone edition of Clank. Here's a scoop on Clank Catacombs. I don't know. For some reason, I always like to just say Clank because it's all caps, exclamation point. Leave the board behind with Clank Catacombs, a standalone deck building adventure. The catacombs of the skeletal dragon Umbrak Vesna are mysterious and dangerous. Portals transport you all around the dungeon depths. Way shrines offer vast riches to intrepid explorers. Prisoners are counting on you to free them. Ghosts, once disturbed, may haunt you to death. Each trip into the catacombs is unique as you lay tiles to create the dungeon. You can play using only the all-new dungeon deck or include cards from previous Clank expansions. Find your fortune and escape the dragon in Clank Catacombs. Everything you need to play Catacombs comes inside the box, making it the perfect entry point for new players looking to test their burglarish wiles. But for seasoned Clank fans, Catacombs is compatible with existing expansions for the original game and brings a whole new way to enjoy your favorite deck builder. Who knows what awaits in the depths below? Each play session presents a unique board that grows and changes as you explore, and fun new mechanics like ghosts, portals, and way shrines are sure to challenge even the most cunning thieves. I have a cunning plan, me lord. Clank Catacombs is for 2 to 4 players, ages 13 and up. Plays around 45 to 90 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $60 when it arrives later this year in Q4. I wish I had more images to share with you. This is it. There's even a little bit of a teaser trailer. It's about 30 seconds long, and all you essentially see is the box cover and the next image. That's all you're getting in those 30 seconds. So I was like, I'm not going to share that. Silly to share that. I like Clank. I have not played a bunch of the expansions. I gotta say, off the top of my head, I think I've only played the core game. But it's fun. I've enjoyed it. Interestingly enough, it is not through Renegade Game Studios anymore. Direwolf is actually producing their own board games. So this is no longer a Renegade Game Studios, I should say, release. I thought that was kind of wild. I thought that was kind of cool. I will also mention that I have arranged a time to meet with folks from Direwolf Digital at Gen Con to get a peek at this and hopefully maybe do an interview as well. I'm not sure if Direwolf has other board games out there. I know they've designed other board games, and of course they've designed computer games, but I thought the rest were always through Renegade. I might be wrong, but just I'm looking forward to this. I think it'll be kind of cool. You basically don't have a board. You're creating the dungeon with tiles. So that'll be fairly unique as well. Sarah D has popped in saying, howdy, Flaming Huron is with us as well. So that gives us 3 of our 4 chat moderators. So behave, everybody. Currently up for pre-order on the GMT Games P500 list is Zheng He, Admiral of the Ming Voyages. Here's what I know. Zheng He, Admiralty of the Ming Voyages, is a solitaire game that recreates the voyages of the Ming treasure fleets in the early 1400s. In the game, you take the role of, you guessed it, Zheng He, commanding the fleet as it sails the Indian Ocean, earning glory for the emperor and keeping favor with the ministers of the court so the voyages can continue. Your goal is to score as many victory points as possible until the political will to continue the voyages runs out. Victory points are earned by visiting ports, gaining envoys, winning battles, and completing special goals. You'll also earn minister points during each voyage by trading and having good relations with ports, which determine whether the game continues with another voyage and also allow you to upgrade and repair the fleet and recruit and train officers. Zheng He is played over a series of voyages called a campaign. Each voyage consists of 3 phases: preparation, voyage, and aftermath. In the preparation phase, you determine the goal for the voyage and set up your fleet. The voyage phase is the bulk of the game, wherein your fleet travels across the map, performing actions to earn victory points and minister points. In the aftermath phase, minister points are calculated, and you check to make sure you have enough support from the ministers to continue to your next voyage. You also spend minister points to upgrade your fleet. Victory points determine how favorably the emperor views your voyage. By managing your fleet effectively through the use of your fleet cards, combined with special leaders that can add over the course of your campaign to your fleet, you can accomplish special goals, win battles against pirates, take on envoys, build bases, trade goods, and more. Through these accomplishments, you gain those precious victory points to earn the emperor's favor and garner enough minister points to appease the ministers and earn the chance to attempt yet another voyage. Zheng He, once again, is for 1 player. It's going to be for ages 14 and up. Plays in 30 minutes or so per voyage, with a campaign taking about 5 hours to complete. Right now, you can pre-order the game for $48. It's going to carry an eventual MSRP of $69. I have to say, and of course, obviously enough, you're taking a look at prototype images here. This sounds very interesting. This is very unique. This is not your, typical GMT game. So, and one of the designers, I believe, is Jeff Engelstein. So that's kind of interesting. He's actually been throwing his hat into, well, maybe not necessarily the war game arena, but historical games a bit over the past few years as well. This sounds very, very interesting. It is very close to the 500 for the P500, although I mentioned before, usually GMT likes to see about 700 pre-orders before they actually put the stamp of approval on a design. But yeah, this could be kind of cool. Kind of cool as a solitaire game. So Sarah D is mentioning that she usually hides behind Mr. Eddie T because he's so tall, but somehow it works the opposite way in chat. All right, let's talk about some role-playing game news, because currently there is a Humble Bundle that's offering a 5e compatible collection of adventure. Here's the latest on the Treasures in Tehodl bundle. Expand your 5e role-playing game collection of adventures. We've got a bundle for all the RPG lovers out there from Frog God Games. Go on dozens of adventures compatible with the 5th edition role-playing mechanics. What game could that be? and expand what's possible in your game sessions. Uncover the secrets of the lost Tehodel Empire in Adventures in Tehodel, 5th edition, because there is a Swords and Wizardry edition. Explore new lands with the Chaos Rising 5e virtual tabletop maps, and search for the loot of your dreams with the physical copy of Tome of Treasures hardcover book. This is going to mark the second time Frog God Games has teamed with Humble Bundle to actually create a special hardcover book for a bundle. These savings are going to run through July 14th, so you can pay what you want and also support the Navy Marine Corps Relief Society. If you go with a $48 donation or more, you'll get everything in the bundle plus the new hardcover book, which is expected to ship out early next year. So the expected delivery is January of next year. One thing to point out, shipping and handling is not covered in your donation. But if you're not interested in the hardcover at all, you can still get the new book. It'll be in PDF. In fact, you can score all 34 digital products for an $18 donation. Pretty sweet. And I should mention, not everything in this bundle is from, why are we getting Milsonia coming up? That's weird. That's very strange. All right, let me take a quick peek here. I don't know. Must be the last image here. Yeah, must be. All right, that's weird. Because I had 5 slides for this. Didn't overwrite it correctly. I don't know. Anyway, there are some releases from Trollord Games. There's also the folio. There's some issues of the folio in here. And I know that's not from Fraud God Games. But there are 34 PDFs. You can score those for $18. So that is a pretty sweet deal. And once again, you'll be supporting the Navy Marines, Navy Marine Corps Relief Society. All right, my final news piece, now available in print and PDF, is the latest adventure for Dungeon Crawl Classics. And here is Goodman Games chiming in about the Veiled Vaults of the Onyx Queen. It's a level 0 adventure for Dungeon Crawl Classics. The Queen's Onyx Jubilee is set to begin, marking the 95th year of the merciful monarch's glorious reign. While the entire realm celebrates the good fortune of their long-lived sovereign, a group of common villagers fights to stay alive. For them, the festivities have become a nightmare, as the sounds of revelry are replaced by the screams of terror. Their own screams of terror, by the way. Imprisoned in opulence, marked for death, hunted by creatures both grotesque and foul, this ragtag group of unsuspecting villagers must band together to brave the vile mysteries that haunt this place and stand defiant in the face of death itself, if they hope to escape the veiled vaults of the Onyx Queen. This 0-level adventure funnel begins in media res, with the characters awakening deep within an opulent palace where they are set to become unwitting sacrifices to the corpse god Mordigian. There they must piece together the clues of their whereabouts, contend with a ghoulish death cult, stop a vile sacrament, close a gate to the underworld, and ultimately confront the corpse god himself if they want to escape the charnel palace and save their very souls. Part dungeon delve, part investigative mystery, the PCs must piece together clues and solve puzzles to help them survive the adventure. There's a good mix of puzzles, riddles, monsters, magic, and mayhem. Characters' alignment and occupation actually play a large role in shaping the outcomes of certain situations. There's solid thematic reasons for NPCs to choose a class, gain spells, select patrons, and worship certain deities. And lastly, this is inspired by the works of Clark Ashton Smith and H.P. Lovecraft. You can score the 26-page softcover with PDF from Goodman Games for $9.99, or you can grab just the PDF alone at DriveThruRPG for $6.99. Coco B has joined us in chat, mentioning it sounds like a job for the mighty Gong Farmer. Yes, another 0-level funnel. Kind of funny that Adventure 101 is out before Adventure 100 is. So we're, I guess folks are still waiting on the Kickstarter shipping fulfillment for the boxed set for the 100th adventure. This could be kind of cool. Could be kind of interesting. I like Dungeon Crawl Classics. I really do. And I have seen a couple of adventures, and I found them to be pretty interesting. So this might be worth taking a peek at. All right, that is it for the news tonight. Of course, I was just talking about DriveThruRPG. Don't forget, the gaming gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to go visit, say, I don't know, DriveThruRPG, by all means, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. All those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Also, if you like this video, if you dig the channel, if you find thegaminggang.com to be a valuable resource, hell, if you like what we do, you can always buy me a cup of coffee or some soda by swinging on over to paypal.me/thegaminggang and making a small donation. And a big tip of the cap to those of you out there who use those banner ads and or swing on over to paypal.me. It is really, really appreciated. Thank you very, very much. All right, so that's the news tonight. Don't forget, I should also mention there are plenty of mainly used board games and role-playing game releases for sale over at thegaminggang.com as well. And keeping in mind, all of this stuff was just utilized for reviews. It is not, we don't have anything out there where it's like, oh, well, we played that 100 times and beat the hell out of it. No, absolutely not. They're all mint condition. So that is also a way that you can help out because we've got that expensive new overhead camera. It's way up there again tonight because I'm using that 35 millimeter prime lens. All righty. Let's see. Miss anything in chat here? I think just some discussion going on amongst the gang. So, Flaming Heron also mentions, make sure to like the video if you enjoy this content. You know, it was kind of funny. I'm no longer asking people to like the video early in the video because I have heard that it irritates, not me personally doing that, but I mean, a lot of YouTube videos say that early on in the video. Hey, you know, like it, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. And I have seen where people are like, you know what? That's irritating. How about let me watch your video and then I can decide if I like it or not. So I was like, so I thought to myself, you know what? I think I'll just do the, hey, thumbs up at the end of the video. It's like, yeah, because I'm not looking to irritate anybody. No one commented to me saying that, but I have heard from other like streamers and content creators on YouTube that they've kind of gotten away from doing that because people are like, yeah. Flaming Heron says, oh, I just did that because I saw you had 13 viewers. He's jumping out of early. Cracking the whip. So tonight, we're going to dive on into Castles and Crusades once again. And we're going to be looking at monsters and treasure in just a couple of moments. But first, I got to be honest, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
Hello there. Gives the demonstration of my new invention, the goodies machine. The machine turns out delicious hot doggies one after the other. And thirst-quenching sodas also. Gives popcorn of the most tasty kind, plain unbuttered. Candy too, crunchy and dandy. Steaming hot coffee and ice cream too. These goodies are at a snack bar just waiting for you.
Have some Wilkins coffee, sir?
If that's all you serve, I'll get off at the next town.
Next town's 5 miles, straight down.
Over there.
Over where?
Over there.
Over here?
No, over there.
Over there.
The warehouse is in danger, the goodies we must save. All officers report at once, the situation's grave. Go get them, boys. What did it say? The culprits must be stopped. We'll make the scene with our siren, Arizona pop as pop. Aha! The guilty ones are trapped. We have performed our mission, but the climax isn't kept until we have an intermission.
Did you honestly think we were going to have 2 streams in a row that Wontkins was going to escape pain-free? Couldn't do that. The next town is 5 miles straight down. Enjoy the trip. I don't know. I'm just weird. I just dig. Just dig those little 15-second commercials. All right. So, as I mentioned, tonight we are going to take a first look at Castles and Crusades, Monsters and Treasure from Troll Lord Games. It's written by Robert Doyle and Stephen Chenault, with Davis Chenault, Todd Gray, Matt Golden, and Christian Harris. I swear, Matt Golden just sounds like an action hero name. Matt Golden is the executioner. Remo Williams has got nothing on Matt Golden. Although, sadly enough, Fred Ward, who played Remo Williams in, well, they expected it to be a series, but it was only the one movie. He passed away not too long ago. But he was a good actor. He didn't show up in a lot of stuff. I don't think a lot of people recognized him, but I remember. Okay, here I go. Going off on one of my little tangents real quick. First time I ever saw Fred Ward in a movie was, I think it was called Time Rider. And he played this, motorcyclist who was in a race, and he gets transported back in time to like the Old West. If I remember right, I think Peter Coyote was the villain. Jeez. Yeah, that was back in the day when people had VCRs, and VHS and Betamax were new. So you'd go to the video store hoping to find something cool. And most of the time you'd be like, all the good stuff's rented. What can we get? You'd be like, well, this looks like this might be pretty cool. Actually, Time Rider wasn't bad. It wasn't a terrible movie. It was all right. Like a drive-in flick. But yeah, that's I don't know. I don't know why I went to Remo Williamson. All right. Tessie Trekkie's joining us in chat, asking if he missed Wonkins. Why did I say Wonkins? Wonkins getting brutally murdered. He was not brutally murdered. But he did not escape, scot-free. Kevin R. Smith says, holy crap, I remember watching that on HBO in like 1982. I know. What can I tell you? All right, let's swing on over to the other camera. Should point out, artwork is provided by Peter Bradley, Sarah Dreamy Walker, Jason Walton, Eric Wilson, Brian Swartz, Mark Allen, and Danielle Bigliardo. I hope I got those names pronounced correctly. This 368-page hardcover carries an MSRP of $49.99. Or you can grab just the PDF alone over at DriveThruRPG for $20. Do want to mention the PDF over at DriveThruRPG does not have this artwork. So this is the most recent printing of Monsters and Treasure. And as I mentioned yesterday, there is an homage to the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons core books. And just to give you an idea, okay, so there's the cover art. And there is the monster manual. So obviously enough, that artwork's a heck of a lot, more impressive than the monster manual for AD&D. Jacob Getty is joining us in chat. Yahoo! Wilkins coffee time. Got so excited, I accidentally pulled the mouse cord out of the PC. Caused the whole PC to lock up. Well, sorry you got overexcited by that. So, do want to mention the fine folks over at Troll Lord Games were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but as always, neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the gaming gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. And it's important that you know that these days. Some people kind of laugh that off, but seriously, it is important that you know nobody's paying me to share this with you. Bane122 is with us as well. So let's take a look at the back here. Once again, it looks like some of the font gets lost in the artwork. I'll do my best. Upon the edge of battle lie the spoils of glory. Beasts of legend and myth, monsters great and small, all creatures great and small. These are the adventurers' fare: dragons, giants, orcs, foul-minded fae, the dreaded hydra, the wriggling sphinx, the naga, wyverns, griffins. Monsters and Treasure has all this and so very much more. What lies herein? Monsters and Treasure contains over 400 monsters for your Castles and Crusades game. Each entry consists of an in-depth description of the monster, along with its nature, habits, the territories they occupy, their predilections, and all other relevant material. Each entry contains all the statistical information required to run the monster at any game table. Contained within this book is a wealth of information for the castle keeper. Along with the monsters are hundreds of unique treasure items, advice on role-playing monsters, handling combat with monsters, creating monsters, rules for awarding treasures, and creating magic items. All right, let's jump on in. Tessie Trekker says, Testy Trekkie says, it's a YouTube requirement to disclose sponsorship. That is correct. And unfortunately, there are some outlets out there, some rather large outlets out there who hide their disclaimer at the end of their videos after the credits roll. You know who I'm talking about. Just one of the reasons why I always point out, hey, receive this review copy, but nobody around here is getting paid for me to share my thoughts, which is probably a good thing, to be honest. So there's some discussion about Blockbuster and video rentals. I didn't go to Blockbuster too much because we had, where I lived, always had some pretty good, like, local video rental stores. And I always like to, support local businesses. All right, let's jump on in. I don't know about those of you watching, but I've had fun taking a look at these Castles and Crusades books this week. And we've got two more. We've got two more to take a peek at. Won't be live, but they are on the horizon. Upon the edge of battle lie the spoils of glory. Let's get an introduction here. So I also want to point out, as we take a peek through, I'm going to stay picture in picture up here as usual. So that means I'm going to be cutting off a little bit of the upper portion of the book here. We're not going to look at each and every page either, but I do want to give you a good feel for what you're going to find within. Sarah says, I love the longer look at this cover, the more little things I notice. It is kind of cool. And then, of course, it's a complete, like, the back cover carries on from here. In fact, I didn't even take a peek. It is. Look at that. Look at that. Pretty cool. The purple worm, the carrion crawler, the griffin, the sphinx, I think that's supposed to be a pixie. I don't know. They're all kind of the same to me. So, yeah, very nice. Very, very cool. All right, let's jump back in here. Anyway, as I was going to say, if you remember, I've mentioned that one of the things that I've heard, a real selling point of Castles and Crusades, is that it's very modular. You can kind of plug things in, and that it's very easy to port over old adventures from essentially basic, expert AD&D up through 3rd edition D&D into Castles and Crusades. And one of the aspects was that it's not that difficult to convert the monsters. Well, if you have monsters and treasure, you won't have to, because I'm going to take a guess that just about everything that can be, because of course, right, like, beholders, you can't have beholders. You got to call them like eye tyrants, displacer beasts. That's another that Wizards of the Coast will not allow you to utilize that term. So is it displacer beasts or blink dogs? Pretty sure it's displacer beasts. But a lot of other stuff that's in this will be in this. 245 Trioxin asks, is it worth getting if you own old school essentials? Well, I have not reviewed these yet. Obviously, this is the first time I've looked at this. I keep my first looks legitimate. I mean, I hadn't even read the back of the book, so I was hoping I wouldn't, completely butcher that. But so far, from what I've seen, I'm liking what I see. So let's take a look. We've got the Ankheg. So first thing I notice is it appears that we get a little bit of artwork. They're not huge images for each of the monsters so far, but it looks like we've got images for just about every creature or almost every creature. Taking a look through here. A baboon. Yes. Is it a red-ass baboon? We have the behemoth. The Bilka. Richard Belzer. What? Oh, sorry. Bilker. So let's take a look. Let's jump into... Let's grab an entry here. Crypt thing. That sounds good. Okay, so we're going to get how many normally will appear, the size, hit dice, and the hit dice is a D8. It's armor class. Now remember, this system is based on, it's a D20 system, and you are looking at rolling higher than a challenge number, challenge level, a DC, whatever you want to consider it. And one of the things I thought was kind of cool, and I'll probably talk quite a bit more about this when I do a review of the player's handbook, is that you have prime attributes and then you have secondary attributes, and you get to decide on what you want. And if you're a demi-human, you're picking 2 prime. If you're human, you get to pick 3 prime. And your success number, your challenge level number, changes depending on, is it a prime attribute that you're rolling against or not. I thought that was very interesting. And I also think that helps players kind of create within a class a more specific kind of character. So if you wanted to be more of a, I don't know, investigative paladin, maybe you're looking at intelligence and charisma as, you know, as your primes. It's kind of cool. All right. So we get a saves letter, or what it saves as. Its move, its attacks, intelligence, high. So we're not actually getting a stat block where it's like, okay, strength, dexterity, things like that. So it is telling us what kind of intelligence it has, its alignment. What kind of creature is it? Well, the crypt thing is undead. What treasure level or maybe treasure table you would roll on? And what kind of experience points is it worth? We get its attacks, 1 claw attack at 1d10, and any kind of special abilities. It has immunity, so it looks like you need a +1 weapon or higher to do damage to it, and it can teleport. Kevin points out, as far as the question about is it worth getting if you own Old School Essentials, Kevin says, depends on how much you like OSC and how much you like simplified systems. CNC uses race and class like AD&D, but has a simplified attribute-based system for everything. Cool. So Jacob mentions that they're glad to be able to join live. They usually don't get a chance to watch shows until midnight, which is why they crave Wilkins coffee so much. There you go. One of these days, I might actually share, I think there were 3 or 4 Wilkins tea commercials that Jim Henson ended up doing. I might bust one out. Maybe I'll bust one out next week. Oh, actually, you know what? Why don't I read this? Crypt things are solitary, lonely creatures that never leave their lair. Sounds like some people I know. Hey, as long as he's got the internet, right? He's connected. Normally found in desolate, forgotten places, the crypt thing wants nothing more than to be left alone. Sounds like some other people I know. Legends abound that crypt things were once great sages, destined to live out eternity in a constant thirst for knowledge. Interruptions are the bane of their existence. If forced into combat, the crypt thing will use its bony hand to claw its victim. The cold, jagged touch of the claw will inflict 1d10 points of damage. For their own reasons, they will only use one hand when attacking. Well, and as far as its teleportation, if anyone enters the lair of a crypt thing uninvited, and no one is ever invited, the crypt thing will use its uncanny ability to teleport the victim or victims a great distance away. Victims of the teleport are allowed a wisdom save with a CL of 10. Challenge level is my guess. Those succeeding may speak with the crypt thing, attempt to fight it, or simply leave. Those failing are teleported up to 5 miles from the creature's lair. The crypt keeper, I should say, will have to make the decision based on numerous factors unique to his game. Crypt thing will know the exact location of every victim it is teleported, but will only reveal the location for some great piece of literature, esoteric grimoire, or rare book. Oftentimes, crypt thing will name the exact object he desires and will only bargain when it is given to him, possibly sending the party on a quest solely to locate this bargaining chip. Only magical weapons can harm a crypt thing. There you go. So one aspect so far looks pretty interesting is we don't have huge multi-page entries for these monsters, which I like. But you're also getting, at least with that crypt thing, you're getting some information about tactics. What does it want? When it wants to be left alone. 245 tracks and says that it might be worth picking this up just for the artwork. So that was a Drider right there. Air elemental. So we're looking at elementals here. Nice. The Ethos Muse. Fairies. Oh, wow. There are a lot of fairies. Quite a few pages of them. What? Still on fairies here. Fey beasts. Oh, that's kind of cool. Flesh crawler. Flesh crawlers resemble enormous maggots. Nice. But are segmented and layered with a hardened chitin scale. Chitin. The gargoyle. Genie. Look, it's Barbara Eden. Few different, looks like we've got different giants. Ooh, the Gorble. Looks like it's a relation to a beholder, which I can mention, they can't. So Coco B says, interesting, crypt things were from the Fiend Folio. Artwork is pretty decent. I mean, there's been a few pieces that are kind of like, eh. But for the most part, relatively uniform, which I like. The hell is this? A Jerem? The Jerams, or Dream, are a race of diminutive creatures that live in the small, numerous tunnels connecting caverns and mountainsides and hills. They can also be found in labyrinthine underground tunnels that are dotted across the world. A Germanic kobold. All right, so what we got here? So we have, I was curious what we were going to see here for the kobolds. Were we going to see little dog-faced creatures? Or were they going to be reptilian? And they are reptilian. I have to say, I kind of missed the little dog-faced kobolds. Although I get it. I understand making them reptilian and, kind of related to dragons and that. Okay. It gives you, it opens the door for far more usage of them. Nice. The Nilbog. Let's see. Let's find another interesting looking. Obviously, those are the orcs, right? Yep, right there. Intelligence low. Looks like we don't have different types of orcs. Just looks like it's just a standard one size fits all orc. Flaming Heron says, still remember the dog-faced kobolds from the Eye of the Beholder computer role-playing game. Yes. The first person view. Okay, so we've got a shadow. What evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows. Yeah, I know. Totally different shadow. Shadows are incorporeal undead creatures. They appear as wisps of black, vaguely. That's kind of weird. They appear as wisps of black, vaguely humanoid in shape. Somebody forgot a word there. Or you could have said they appear as black wisps, vaguely humanoid in shape. I will point out, as far as I understand, with Troll Lord Games, you have a pretty small team working on Castles and Crusades. So I'm not going to expect the same editing as I would from, say, Wizards of the Coast. So something else that I will mention is that I really get the impression that the folks over at Troll Lord Games really love role-playing games. They just, even the books themselves are written kind of conversationally, it seems. Taking a look at this, it's not very technical writing like you would expect. The Vegapygmy from, didn't they originally appear in Expedition to the Barrier Peaks? Was that the first appearance of the Vegapygmies? Or Vegapygmy? I don't know how you can pronounce it. They are intelligent plant creatures found mainly in forested areas or regions with much unchecked plant life. They are short, rarely reaching over 5 feet, but dense. Their skin is normally green, but will gradually change to adapt to its surroundings. This change takes a few generations to complete. They have small growths all over their body of natural ivy or leaves. They have 2 large eyes that are solid black and lidless. Grass grows from the top of their head like hair, and Vegapygmies are fond of styling the hair in various elaborate styles. They are neutral. Cool. Well, I have to say, so far from what we've seen over these 3 nights, I'm impressed. I am impressed with Castles and Crusades. Now, we got some recycled art because we saw this in the Castle Keeper's Guide, and this is a cover from an earlier print run of one of the books. May have been Monsters and Treasures. I don't know, but I'm really digging this. This could be a go-to system for, you know, high fantasy role playing. So now we got the treasure section. So this is going to be a lot of Castle Keeper information about creating magic items. And this section here is talking about creating sentient items and kind of discussing the different classes, what you might consider using. Here's our different tables for treasure. So when we saw, oh, okay, here we go. So table 4, remember we were looking at, I think it was a crypt thing, had the table 4. So here we've got percentile dice. You're going to roll, and it's going to tell you potion, scroll, weapon, armor and shields, miscellaneous magic, rings, rods, staves, and wands, cursed items, and artifacts. And then we've got our tables here that you would roll on. Impressive. And of course, game masters worth their salt tend to roll up treasure ahead of time so that they don't slow the actual game down. Can't tell you how many times I have heard of game masters who, you know, they're just kind of rolling with the, you know, with the flow, and they need to, you know, provide treasure for a monster that they knew the party was going to fight, and then they sit there rolling stuff up. It's like, what? It's like, are you serious? Who would do that? Roll up some stuff on, you know, various tables, jot it down, have it ready. So looks like we're going to get into some of the magical treasure. Yes. Flaming Heron says they always love a good table. So a bunch of magical gear. Unfortunately, we're not seeing, well, now we do. Bing, little image there. I was going to say a little bit lacking in the artwork, but a lot of stuff. I mean, you know, a +1 sword, I think you know what it looks like. Now, a +1 morning star, you may not know what it looks like. Or a flail. All right. So it looks like we're going to wrap up with the treasure. Then we get our open game license. And that is our 368 pages of monsters and treasure for Castles and Crusades. Keep in mind, I am going to have a review of all 5 of the Castles and Crusades books that we're taking a look at in the relatively near future. This is available for an MSRP of $49.99. You can grab the PDF alone over at DriveThruRPG for $20. Do want to point out that PDF, I believe, does not have this cover art. It is an older print run cover art. All right. So let's swing on over to the other camera because remember, I am giving one lucky viewer an opportunity to win all 5 of these essentially core books we're taking a look at from Castles and Crusades in PDF. So to get into the running, pretty easy. Got to be a subscriber to the Gaming Gang channel. Check. And then leave a comment on each of the 5 videos for the Castles and Crusades releases. Now, if you didn't happen to watch Monday's stream or Tuesday's stream, why am I dry down here? Like, is my mouth stuck together? If you didn't want Tuesday's stream. English, Jeff. If you did not watch Monday or Tuesday's stream, don't worry, just go back, check them out. Will mention, it's got to be a comment of some substance. It can't just be, I want to win. Not that easy. Not that easy, right? Of course it is. Super easy. You're watching these videos about these role-playing game books. It's pretty easy to mention something about what you've seen in the video or share a thought, ask a question, whatever. It doesn't matter as long as it is a comment of some substance. You are in the running. Got to comment on all 5, though. So that's where we are not going to have hundreds of people competing. So I've already taken a look at the Player's Handbook. That was on Monday's show. Then the Castle Keeper's Guide was on last night's show. And I will have both the Codex of Adair, I think that's how it's pronounced. I have not cracked this open yet. So it's going to be a first look video. And I'm sure the pronunciation is going to be in the first few sentences. So we will find out. So that video is coming up. And then Gods and Legends. So these are the 2 videos that are on the horizon. They're going to be standalone. They will not be live. So all you got to do, once again, be a subscriber, comment on each of the videos. You're in the running. And then on Tuesday's show, on July 5th's show, I will announce the winner. And you will get all 5 of these books in PDF. So Fleming Heron says, well, if you aren't subbed, giving a stern look. Yeah. We're closing in on, 7,400 subscribers? That's not too shabby. That's not too bad. Usually we get a bump in subscribers when we have like a D&D book come out and I'm doing a giveaway for the alternate art version, which we haven't seen in a while. So I was going to say, we've been pulling in about 200 new subscribers a month, and that's not too shabby for not having new D&D stuff in a while. So cool. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, everybody. All right. So that is it for tonight's show. I will not be doing a stream on Monday because it is the 4th of July. I do think I will be running some Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay this weekend. Fingers crossed. So I am looking forward to that. If not, we are going to play some board games. But one of the players isn't sure they can make it. So it's kind of in limbo right now. I really do want to run Wifrip again because I think we could probably move from like the introductory adventure that I've got them in the midst of from the starter set into the first chapter of Enemy Within. Maybe leaving it as a cliffhanger when one of the characters finds the dead body that looks exactly like them. Dun, dun, dun. Leave that as a cliffhanger. I think it would be pretty cool. Flaming Heron says, thanks for the stream. Have a good weekend. See y'all Tuesday. Happy 4th of July for those celebrating it, yes, if you're in the U.S., obviously enough, hopefully you have a wonderful 4th of July. Have a great holiday weekend. And of course, I know there's folks out there who are not in the U.S. Just hoping you enjoy the rest of the week and have a great weekend. So, those of you who watch live, thank you very, very much. Of course, if you like this video, be sure to give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. It'll also let you know when I upload standalone videos, such as those upcoming Castles and Crusades books, my recent review of the Guild of Merchant Explorers, as well as upcoming first look at Call of Cthulhu, Cults of Cthulhu. Looking forward to cracking this open. I don't know. Should I hold on to this till next week and do it on a show? Do it on a stream next week? Maybe on Tuesday? Let me know in the comments. Maybe we'll look at this on Tuesday. And I've got a war game for us to look at it on Wednesday too. So sweet. All right. Of course, if you took part in chat, thank you kindly. Always appreciate you chiming in so I don't feel like a complete doofus. But of course, I know a lot of people out there don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy life to check this goofball out, pontificating, talking about Remo Williams out of nowhere. Once again, everybody enjoy the rest of your week. Have a great weekend. If you're here in the U.S., have a wonderful 4th of July. If you're playing around with fireworks, be careful, please. Want everybody with all their fingers and toes when I come back on Tuesday. And of course, here's hoping each and every one of you gets to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.
Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. Check out the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch, or find out what YouTube recommends you check out from the channel. And of course, once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks for watching.